Williams, the law firm mentor. And if you are in this room, you are here to learn about crushing your marketing chaos. So I want to just let you know how the workshop is going to run so that you know kind of the rules of the game. First, I'll tell you, I'm not a techie and I have no one here helping me. So I feel like I'm driving a Maserati, even though I am used to a Honda. So if I screw something up on the tech, please know that I apologize. Second up is that I am going to actually teach during this workshop. Some people are treating their workshops as kind of a Q&A session. If you're interested in asking me specific questions and getting live coaching, I'm happy to do that, but that is reserved for tomorrow at 2:15 at the Influencer Roundtable. This session is really going to be substantive. So I hope that you all brought notes. Hi, Gretchen. Very nice to see you. I'm glad that you're here. And Deb, I'm also glad that you're here. So if you're in this session, I hope that you have a notepad because I'm going to be giving you substantive information. My understanding is that the slides are going to be available to those who bought the All Access Pass. And if you did not buy a pass, I will leave my information at the end of the program so that we can share with you the slides so that you have access to those. And again, if you have substantive questions, you can put them in the chat. I will try my hardest to get to them while you're here. Maria, very nice to see you. I'm glad that you're here as well. Thank you so much for stopping in. And if your question is not answered here live during the presentation, please know that we will also, I'll be available tomorrow. I will get to everyone's questions, I promise. Okay, so we're talking about marketing chaos. And the goal of this workshop, hi, Jeanette. Very nice to see you. Thank you so much for coming in. The goal of this workshop is really to go through a process, a simple process to get to the point of consistent recurring revenue. And this process is beneficial whether you have a startup law firm and you have been at this for a couple of weeks looking for your first client, or if you are in a process where you have hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions of dollars, but you just want to get to that place where you don't have to spend your energy thinking about where your next client is coming from. So marketing chaos is really, as I talk about chaos in anything, marketing chaos is really about the idea of not having a systemic way of doing things so that you actually have to spend your time and energy thinking about it. The more time and energy you devote to having to figure things out in your law firm, and this is not innovation, this is basic business 101, is the more time that you have to spend on that activity, the more time that's taken away from doing things that are going to ultimately give you the most enjoyment in your business, whether that is making more money, having more time, having more freedom, or a whole host of other activities. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that concept. When I talk about chaos, I'm not talking about the idea that you're not functional. I'm talking about the idea that you don't have a systemic way of doing things that eliminates you from the process. Because if you're in a business, not just owning a job, but if you're in a business, the goal of your business should be to produce consistent recurring revenue for you without you having to devote your energy to struggle and hustle and all of the energy that we devote when we are in a state of chasing business rather than having it fluidly come to us. Okay? So for those of you that don't know me, I am Allison Williams, the Law Firm Mentor. Law Firm Mentor is a business coaching service for solo and small law firm attorneys. We help you to grow your revenues, crush chaos in business, and make more money. I am also the host of the Crushing Chaos with Law Firm Mentor podcast, and you can find us in all the places where you listen to podcasts, such as Google, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, all those places. And for those of you that are questioning where I learned, if you will, coaching, know that I went through my own journey of starting a law firm and getting from zero to multi-million-dollar revenue in 3.5 years. And I did that with the facilitation of coaches. And so ultimately, I learned how to be a business coach, and I now provide that service through Law Firm Mentor. All right, now that you guys know what we're talking about, you know what the purpose of the workshop is, we're going to dive in, and I'm going to take myself off video so that you can focus on our slide deck. Okay. What is a marketing plan? So the first thing we have to understand about our process is that you are going to create a series of marketing funnels that are built on hypotheses and numbers. And for those of you that don't like math, don't worry. Numbers does not mean complicated math. Numbers are really simple in this particular formula. You're going to have delegation to your plan. You're going to have inspiration to your plan. That means you're going to be doing something that you enjoy, and you are going to execute your plan. This is how you create a marketing plan, and it is through a marketing plan that you create consistent recurring revenue. So when I ask the question, what is a marketing plan? I want you to see the image that you have before you right now. You see a series of funnels. You see that at the top of the funnel, it is super wide. And you also see that at the bottom of the funnel, it is super narrow. Okay, the top of the funnel is where all of your opportunity comes in. Marketing opportunity, we refer to that as impressions. And at the bottom of your funnel is where you are going to generate your clients. Okay. For a frame of reference for everyone who's thinking about how much I'm going to be spending on your marketing plan, know that this is a plan that you can execute at any stage of budget and at any size of law firm. It worked this way when I first started out, when I was at $0. It worked this way last year when we were over $3 million. So it doesn't really matter how much time and money you are putting into your plan. Know that this is the structure of a marketing plan, no matter who's creating it. Now, I also want to give you a concept that if you are working on improving a marketing funnel, meaning you are trying to get more money out of your marketing funnel at any time, the place to start is always at the bottom. So there are other workshops going on right now from some exceptional talent in the marketing space, some of whom are actually my friends, and they will always be offering you services that relate to what they can do for you. And I'm a big proponent of getting marketing done for you. Hiring SEO companies, pay-per-click, reputation marketing, all of those things have a place and have a value. But those are top of the funnel activity. Those are activity that's designed to get people into the top, meaning getting people to see your image, see your website, come to your page, come to your social media. Top of the funnel costs the most money. Bottom of the funnel, where you have clients, that is where you are already making your money. And if you start with your existing clients at the bottom, at the purple, that is where you are going to make the most money without an investment, meaning your investment can be time-based as opposed to revenue-based. So think about bottoms up as a way of getting the most revenue out of your funnel. Okay, lots of different types of marketing activity. I know this is probably a little hard to see, so I'm just going to share with you that this is a smattering of different things that you can do to market. And I'm sure we're all familiar with them, right? These are things such as word of mouth marketing from friends and community referrals, networking with non-legal professionals like business owners in your area, paid sponsorships, paid print advertising, public speaking, television advertising, print advertising, billboards. There's lots of different strategies. Know that you're going to have one strategy per funnel. So your marketing funnel is not going to be all of these things put into the top of a funnel. You're going to have a word of mouth funnel, a print advertising funnel, public speaking funnel, billboard funnel, and so forth. Now, I want you to be thinking about the idea of your funnels being specific to a particular strategy, because you're going to have a funnel for each of the strategies. And the more diverse your activity in marketing, the more consistency and recurring revenue that you're going to be able to produce out of your marketing plan. In other words, I want you to think about this like investing in any type of revenue generating activity. Just as if you were asking a financial planner, how do I grow my $50,000? I have $50,000 in the bank. I don't want to just get the low rate of interest that the bank is going to give me. I want to grow it. You would have some real estate investing. You might have the stock market. You might be putting some money into affiliate programs so that you can get passive income off of referring people. You would have a lot of different places that your money would go, with the idea that diversity is going to allow you to continue to make consistent and recurring revenue, even in times where one part of your plan goes down. So investing, if you're investing in the stock market and all of a sudden you start to see that we're facing a recession, you wouldn't just take all of your money out of the stock market, but you certainly wouldn't be spending most of your additional money and putting it into places where you can see the rate of return going down. You would put your money into maybe real estate, a longer term strategy, or perhaps you might put your money into some form of business. But ultimately, you're always going to be looking to diversify, which is the reason why you're going to have funnels for every type of activity. So here we have one example, a funnel for networking with non-legal professionals, networking with legal professionals, paid sponsorship of events, publishing legal articles, public speaking, billboard advertising, mass mailings. So again, your marketing plan starts with a series of funnels. Okay, now the ones that I just rattled off for you are just examples. So if you missed any of that, I don't want you to think that you missed something significant. We literally just picked a marketing activity. Anything that you're doing to let people know about your business is a form of marketing activity. You're going to have a funnel for each one of those. And as a reminder, our marketing plan is going to start with a series of marketing funnels built on hypotheses with numbers. You're going to have delegation of activity in your marketing plan. You're going to have inspiration, and you're going to have execution of a plan. Okay, these 5 components are all the necessary easy steps to having consistent and recurring revenue. All right, now let's talk about the hypotheses with numbers. Okay, first, as you'll note on the screen, you have top to bottom several different colors, and I chose a color-coded funnel so that it would illustrate to you the different parts of the funnel, because you need to think about your funnel in terms of segments in order to know where to change activity if something is not going right in your marketing funnel, okay? So as I said before, top of the funnel is what we refer to as an impression. That's an opportunity, okay? Think about a billboard. Somebody drives by a billboard, those are eyes on the billboard. That is an impression. That doesn't mean that the person needs a legal service. That doesn't mean that the person needs the legal service that's being offered by the attorney on the billboard. It also doesn't mean that the person can afford the legal service. But the very fact that there are a certain number of eyes on the billboard is a description of an impression that would be sold to you. So, little case in point here, if you're ever dealing with a marketer and they tell you, we can get you 10,000 impressions, your answer should be, so what? An impression is effectively meaningless unless you know what percentage of people who could see your communication are available to consume your service, meaning they are leads for your service. Okay. And by the way, as we're going through this process, if you guys don't understand anything I've said, please drop a message in the chat. But if you're with me right now, please let me know that you're pacing with me right now. Drop something into the chat that says, I got it. I understand. I'm on the same page, because I know I talk fast. And if I keep talking and you guys don't got it, I'm going to be upset. Okay. Everybody's pacing with me. Got it. I'm handling with you. Perfect. Okay. So beyond impressions come into the top. We now have to figure out, of those impressions, how many of them are leads for our business? How many of those people coming into our funnel that are seeing our marketing message actually have the ability to hire us because they have a need for the service that we are delivering, okay? That is what a lead is. A lead is not simply somebody who sees it and is attracted to it and would be inclined to call you. They have to have a need for what you offer. So a lead would be somebody in a family law firm who needs a divorce. Somebody for a lead for a real estate company would be someone who needs to purchase real estate. Criminal defense, a lead is somebody who has been charged with a crime or is a person of interest for a criminal prosecution. I think we all got the general topic there. Now, one step down from leads are viable leads. Okay, the difference between a lead and a viable lead is, do you have the ability to serve a lead right now? Okay, so a viable lead is someone who has a need for your service and you are inclined to deliver that service to that person. So let me give you an example. If you own a personal injury law firm and you focus on mass torts, and somebody calls your office and says, I've been injured, I need help, initially that person is a lead, right? They have a requirement for a legal service. Your firm is in the market of delivering that service. However, that person is not viable if all you handle is mass tort litigation, because they could have a slip and fall. So they're not viable, even though technically you handle personal injury cases, you could represent that person. Okay. Now, somebody who happens to be indigent or cannot afford your service is not necessarily not viable. And I want you to think about that when you are talking to marketing companies about hiring them to do SEO for you, search engine optimization, or pay-per-click marketing, or anything online in the digital space. Because oftentimes you are either paying per lead for the people that will call your office or the people that click on your ad, or you are paying for the engagements that you would get through a lot of these services that are now available on websites, where they will speak with you on the website. They will charge you anywhere from 15 cents up to 75 cents per person that a member of a reception service will engage with that person online. So a lot of times, if the person is chatting it up with John Doe who calls in, and John Doe is saying, hey, I need a real estate attorney, and you have a family law firm, the lead company will not necessarily charge you for that. However, if that person could have hired you, they had a need for the service that you offer, and you did not deem them viable, the company will often still charge you, because their goal is to get you connected with human beings that need the legal service that you are offering. So you have to understand for your business, what is the necessity of characterizing someone as viable? And that is so that you are only scheduling appointments and not wasting your time and energy and money on people who you want to work with and are willing to work with. That makes them viable. They can still be considered a lead, however, and if you're getting a lot of people who are not viable as leads, that is oftentimes a product of the messaging that you're putting out and the education that you're giving to the search engine optimization company that will be handling things for you online. So it's really important that you're clear on who is a lead and who is a viable lead. Okay, now moving down the funnel. First half of the funnel are the people that are going to come in. The second half of the funnel is the activity of the law firm to get those people to become clients. So at the fourth rung down the ladder, we are looking at our scheduled consults, okay? This means if somebody calls the office and they say, I want to speak to attorney so-and-so, I was referred by John Doe, that person is now engaging in a process to determine if they're going to schedule an appointment with you. Lots of different strategies to increase the rate of scheduling. That is a sales conversation. You are selling them on the idea that their problem is solved by scheduling an appointment with the attorney or with the non-attorney, depending on how you have sales happening in your office. But ultimately, you have to get them scheduled in order for them to matter to your law firm, because clearly somebody calling your law firm doesn't mean anything to you unless you can get them to become a client. And the first step in that process is to get them scheduled for a consultation. Now, once you get them scheduled, here's the next trick. You've got to get them to actually show up. So if you have people that are scheduling appointments and they're not showing up, there's some strategies that you can use to increase the likelihood that someone shows up for a consultation. I know that we have heard this morning about consultation fees, and when you are young, hungry, and scrappy, some of the discussion this morning was that you should not charge fees. From the day you open your law firm, my view is that you should charge a consultation fee. And getting people to show up increases greatly when you charge a consultation fee. If you're somebody who does not yet want to charge a consultation fee, you are newer in business, you fear that your industry is not one that allows for it, or you're statutorily not allowed to charge for it, like bankruptcy, then there are other strategies that you can use, but a consultation fee tends to be the strongest to correlate with getting the most people possible scheduled for an appointment that will actually show up. And then finally, down at the bottom in our purple, the most royal color in the universe, that's where we have our retained clients. So top of the funnel, we have impressions leading all the way down to the bottom of the funnel where we have our clients. Okay, you're going to create one of these funnels for every type of marketing activity that you want to do as a part of your plan. So I rattled off some earlier, and I'm going to go through those now relative to a marketing funnel. So first up, top of the funnel, we've got impressions. Okay, the slide that you have before you right now, we're looking at non-legal professionals. So who are the impressions for non-legal professionals? Any place that a human being can encounter the lawyer or agent of your law firm that is networking on behalf of the law firm. So that would essentially be you, okay? We're going to assume that all of you are either law firm owners or have some connection to law firms. And as a representative of the law firm, you're going to do some networking. So non-legal professionals. Let's say you went to a Chamber of Commerce event. Every person at that event is an impression, okay? They all have the opportunity to speak to the lawyer about the law firm business. That does not mean that they are all leads, okay? Now, if you're putting the broad category of Chamber of Commerce event, any Chamber of Commerce event would be a place where you have the opportunity to meet people. That is a place where you have an opportunity. However, when you want to start thinking about leads and getting a little bit more sophisticated as to which events you're going to choose, you would choose an event where professionals would tend to work with attorneys. So you might go to a networking event with accountants as opposed to a networking event with plumbers. Now, if you're in personal injury law or construction law in particular, you might want to go to the event with the plumbers. So it is not a matter of choosing the most financially sophisticated person that you can network with. It is always about asking the question, who are my people and where can I find them? And that is at the core of every marketing message you're going to put out there, and that includes yourself. So we have a resource that I'm going to refer you to at the end of the program. I've been asked not to refer to this resource throughout the program because you're getting this program as a result of attending, and I want you to make sure that you're getting that value, whether you opt in to receive something later or not. But essentially what we're talking about is the avatar. Who is the person that you are most inclined to get to work with you based on what message you are putting out there, and who is ideal for you? That ideal client avatar needs to be in your mind, and the same thing applies when you are networking. So who is the ideal referral source avatar? Okay, so your leads here, when we're talking about networking with non-legal professionals, your leads include, I'm getting a message that someone is having difficulty hearing me. Can you guys just drop in the chat if you are having difficulty hearing me? Okay. Someone is saying they're hearing okay. Others are saying they're hearing fine. Okay. So Anya, I'm not sure what is happening with your sound. I'm going to move the microphone a little bit closer and see if that resolves the issue. Okay, good. I'm glad that you can hear me now. Okay, so when we're talking about your leads would be the events where your sources are, okay? Always be asking yourself, where are my people and where can I find them, okay? When you are talking about your people are the people that you need to connect with in order to make sales. Those people can be your clients, right? Your prospective clients, but they also can be your prospective referral sources. And Anya, I was referring to the Ideal Client Avatar worksheet, and I'm going to give you the link to access that worksheet at the end of the program. Okay, so once you have your leads, you have to next figure out who is viable as a lead in this funnel, okay? Who is viable when you are networking with non-legal professionals would be working the room for a set number of potential referral sources. Now, this is important because if you're going to a networking event, the last thing you want to do is try to blitz out your business card to 5,000 people that you don't know anything about them. You don't know if you want to work with them. You don't know if they want to work with you. They're not going to remember you. None of that is going to be beneficial for you when you're in a state of networking, okay? So if you are going to an event, you want to choose a set number of potential referral sources. You want to have those people picked out before you get there. Now, again, this is top of the funnel. First half of the funnel are who are my people and where can I find them? Once you have gotten those people identified, the second half of the funnel, from scheduled down to retained, are about how do we get people over the finish line. So in this particular funnel, when we're talking about schedule, the next thing is how do I schedule myself with the person, the people that I am trying to ultimately cultivate a relationship with, okay? So in this instance, having a staff person call your potential referral source to schedule that one-to-one would be the scheduled event for this particular funnel. Next up, you want to have those people show up. Now, you'd be surprised. Networking is usually a reciprocal relationship. People want to network and they want to get something out of it. So you're not going to have a lot of difficulty here with show up, but you could have people that you're networking with that are high profile. or super busy, or not wanting to break the momentum with the schedule, right? You could have any number of problems with people not wanting to show up or not actually showing up. Next thing to consider is that you want to have people actually retain you, okay? So in the context of a referral relationship, you're talking about having people retain you for purposes of referring a client, okay? So if we're with a referral source, the retention here is not the actual client. The retention is the retainer or the referral relationship being solidified so that ultimately that person refers you clients, okay? So we have now walked through from impressions down to retained what a marketing funnel looks like. And you're going to rinse and repeat this process for every type of networking or marketing activity in your funnel. And I broke out networking and marketing because most people, when you say marketing, they don't necessarily think of networking. But networking is, again, a marketing activity because marketing is all about getting people to know of your business so that you can get clients from their knowing of your business. All right. So we're continuing on with marketing plans, hypotheses with numbers. Okay. We've covered our non-legal professionals. Okay. And let's say that you're going to break this down by having a funnel for all of the activities that you're going to have over the course of a year. Okay. So we've now applied some numbers to our funnel. Okay. Our hypothesis is that we're going to go to 5 events a year, but we have to see how we're going to monetize those events, right? We don't just want to go out, shake hands, kiss babies, meet people, and hope for the best. That's what a lot of people do when they network. And that's part of the reason why I'm choosing networking as an example, because I know that that is the example that people oftentimes use inappropriately in their business, okay? So let's say that you're going to have an impression of 5 events a year, okay? You're going to go to 5 events. That means all the people at those events are people that have the opportunity to learn, know, like, and trust you so they can become clients of your business. So there you have your impressions. Now, a step down from that are your leads. Who are the leads at these events? Okay. You want to go to events with people that, again, are going to have the greatest likelihood of referring you clients. So let's assume that those include accountants, physicians, and construction managers. Okay. Now, of your leads, how many of those are viable? And yes, Maria, I will share the slides. I'm going to provide my contact information at the end. Anyone who did not get the all access pass and does not have access to the recording, which will include the slides, feel free to reach out to me at the end of the program, and I'm happy to send you a copy of the slides. So how many of your leads are viable? So first, you want to have 5 potential referral sources per event, okay? If you're going to 5 events over the course of a year, you're expecting to have 25 potential referral sources generated from all of your networking with non-legal professionals, right? 5 events, 5 people per event, 5 times 5 is 25. Now, let's say that you're going to have your team member reach out to these people to schedule an appointment, but let's say all of them are not receptive. Perfectly okay, right? They're not trying to be mean. They're just too busy or not taking on new relationships, or they don't remember you, or whatever the case may be. But let's say you get 20 out of the 25 people that you met to schedule an appointment. And let's say because of statistical probability, all of them show up, right? So 20 appointments scheduled, 20 people show up. Then you're going to ultimately work toward having clients. Now, of course, in this particular example, I actually put the number of clients that you reasonably expect is going to come from your 20 referral sources. But normally the funnel gets you to the place where you have the referral relationship created. And we don't always know when that referral relationship is going to generate a client. So what I would highly recommend you do if you're in a state of networking is look at the length of time it takes you from when you establish a relationship with someone to when they refer you a client. You might have met certain lawyers in the course of working with them on a case. Maybe your adversaries are more inclined to send you clients than random attorneys that you meet at networking events or bar association events. Doesn't really matter. All that's really important here to recognize is that you're going to have a certain likelihood of a period of time passing from when you meet someone to when they refer you a client, and the more acquainted you get with that particular number, the better you are able to plan how many likely clients you're going to receive in the course of a year as a result of your networking. Okay, now the grid that I have in front of you right now is a marketing plan, okay? This is probably going to be one of, if not the most important slide that we cover today. So you'll see in column A, we have essentially the components of a funnel. We have impressions, leads, viable leads, scheduled, show up, and retained. Okay, that is the funnel. Think again, top of the funnel was red, bottom of the funnel was purple. From red down to purple are rows 2 through 7. Okay, really important that you also look across columns B through F. B, C, D, E, and F are the different funnels that you're going to create. So each of the marketing activity is going to have a funnel, and each funnel is going to have impressions, leads, viable leads, scheduled, show up, and retain. Are you guys getting this? I need to hear that you're getting this before I will continue. Let me know if you understand, if this is making sense, if it's common sense, if you think I'm talking gibberish, if I'm speaking Russian and you only speak German. Let me know either way. Okay, great. I'm getting that people are getting this, so I'm going to keep going. Now, it's really, really, really important that as you look across the page, you see that there is a funnel and that each of the funnels is going to have each 6 components. The reason why this is important is because if you have something happen like COVID and you have a funnel that stops working, your answer should not be to freak out, to panic, to get scared, to say, holy shit, I don't know what happened to my funnel and I don't have any money coming in. Your thought should be, okay, funnel number 1 is not working. Where between our impressions all the way down to retained is the funnel not working? And ask yourself, can I fix the funnel? How quickly can I fix the funnel? And if I don't believe I can fix the funnel, where should I put my time and my resources into the remainder of the funnels in order to ensure my economic survival and success? Okay, that is always how you pivot a marketing plan, whether you are pivoting it in a cataclysmic distress moment like COVID, or you're pivoting it simply because you lost a partner, or 2 of your associates defected, or you decided you didn't want to practice in a certain practice area anymore. This is always how you're going to pivot. You're going to take your time and money out of one funnel and move it to another or create another funnel. But you're always going to be thinking from the perspective of how many opportunities do I have to make money? That's the impression. How many of those opportunities are people that I can actually work with? Those are your leads. How many of those people that I can work with do I actually want to work with? And sometimes the viable lead question is one that you put on pause, right? And a lot of people are not going to tell you that. They're going to say, only work with people you want. Listen, there were a whole lot of assholes I did not want to work with when I was trying to make money. Okay, let's just be real. Okay. Now, question in the chat, how many funnels should one have at a given time? Normally, I would say you want to have at least 3 to 5 funnels. The more, the better. Okay. The more, the better, not from a perspective of shiny new object, but the more, the better from the perspective of once you start dialing in marketing in any given area, it becomes much easier to scale if that is your goal. So Maria, if you want to, let's say you have a $350,000 business and you want to be at $1 million. Well, there are some times where you dial in your funnel and you've got, let's say 3 funnels. Let's say you're networking, you have SEO, and you also have, let's say you have an email drip sequence online, okay? And those 3 funnels are working well for you and you're happy with them and they're bringing you money, but you want to make more money. You can always pour more money into the funnels that are working. So if you know that $5,000 a month is getting you $25,000 a month in revenue, then you could pour more money into that funnel and say, well, if 5,000 got me X, 10,000 is going to get me 2 times X. Or you could say, let me put my money into other places. The better diversification you have with your funnels, the less economic retraction that you're going to experience. So that typically means when you start looking at the quarters of your business, the quarters of a year, there's usually a trend to where money comes in. There are some firms that, the first quarter is always killing it, knocking it out of the park, new year, new me mindset of people. That's where you start making your money. Other people, end of the year, right? We're zooming toward the holidays. That's where all the energy is. That's where people start paying their bills. We start giving discounts to pay the bill in full, and we make most of our money in the end of the year. If you don't know these things, then it's hard to make decisions around them. But if you have some idea, one of the things that you can always do is start pivoting your funnels so that you put more money and time and energy into certain funnels at certain times of the year in order to make sure that you have, again, that consistent recurring revenue. That's always the goal. Okay. Now, if you look at row 9 on the funnel, you'll notice that there's gross revenue, which are your total retained clients, times your average case value. Okay. So this means that you need to have an idea of how much money on average you generate from the cases that you're bringing in. And you need to think about that from every type of marketing activity that you're going to be doing for each type of case that you have in your firm. Okay. So if you are a family law firm, you don't want to have a marketing funnel of SEO that is designed to get you clients in every one of your practice areas without differentiating it. Because if you're spending money on your adoption practice, that's not the same thing as spending money on your divorce practice, which is not the same thing as spending money on your child abuse practice, right? There are different metrics associated with those. So you really want to break this out by each practice area, and you want to have a funnel to generate clients in each of those practice areas. Question is pending. Are there particular funnels that work well for plaintiff side employment lawyers? So I won't go into the specifics of what works well for different practice areas. The reason for that is that even though I have some general trend knowledge about that, I don't want to speak to what is in your particular area without knowing a little bit more about your firm, because there are some funnels that work better at a certain revenue size than others, meaning there are certain people that are going to see a message and see a certain size of firm and have a different impression than if you're smaller. So there's a lot that goes into the avatar and the actual messaging around your service and how you're able to interact with people. Some things that classically work is always networking, right? You always want to make sure that you are creating relationships with people, even if you are an introvert. By the way, if you're an introvert, so am I. I have a whole video on how to network for introverts. It is on the YouTube channel. You can find us at youtube.com/law firm mentor. Okay, so moving on, we want to make sure that we also are tracking the time and the money that we're spending on each of these activities. Now, I'm not going to go into a great deal about that. So that is on the chart that is in front of you. You see rows 11 through 14. There's a lot more detail that goes into that, and that's something that I cover in Marketing for the Masters, which is one of our signature retreats. It's actually coming up in June of this year. But this is not a promo for that. I just want to let you know that we're not going to cover it today because of dearth of time. Okay, so we've talked about having funnels for each of the different areas. Now you'll see across the top here, same slide, but we're talking about labeling our funnels based on the activities to be pursued. So column B, we've got a funnel for networking with non-legal professionals. Column C, networking with legal professionals. Column D, paid sponsorship of events. Column E, our public speaking engagement, and column F is for billboards, okay? Whatever activity you have, it's important that you know which activity is on your plan so that it's clear when you access your plan. Now, here's where the numbers come in. And for those of you that don't like numbers, don't hate me. This is an important part of the process, okay? So in each of our funnels, you want to actually break down your hypotheses. And I am saying hypotheses very intentionally because we all like to have as much precision as we can. Most lawyers recognize the more we can have certainty and finality and definiteness, the better we feel, right? Because most people don't like to have uncertainty in any aspect of their life, but certainly in business. The problem is you're never going to have your marketing plan so dialed in that you know every time you get to a certain place, you're going to bring in exactly a certain dollar amount. Case in point, once upon a time, I built my reputation by public speaking, and I would get on stages and I could reasonably approximate if I got onto our state's Institute of Continuing Legal Education stage, That was a $30,000 event over the next 3 months. So I knew that I was going to bring in $30,000 over the next 3 months. I didn't know if it was going to come in the form of 6 clients paying me $5,000. I didn't know if it was going to come in the form of 1 client paying me $30,000, but I could reasonably approximate, based on past experience, that this was what we were ultimately going to generate. So that's the whole idea. You're going to hypothesize, and then once you get to a point of clarity, you're going to document that, and then you're going to make sure that things don't change. And as things do change, because things always change, you're going to have an idea of where to go to make sure that that change can be addressed as quickly as possible, so you keep yourself at consistent recurring revenue. Okay, so we have our impressions, leads, viable leads, scheduled, show up, and retained for each of our funnels. Now we put some numbers here. These again are hypotheses. So I'm just going to use one because we're running short on time so that you can get the point. Okay, we're going to start with funnel 1, which is our networking with non-legal professionals. We've got 5 events, as we said before, and let's say we meet 100 people at our 5 events. Okay. Now we know that out of each of those 5 events that we are aiming to have leads generated, but let's say we only generate from those 5 events. We're going to 5 events, right? We're going to try to aim for 5 professional preferred referral sources from each of those events. That we're going to have 5 of those, and we're going to have, again, 100 opportunities from these events. Okay. We're going to have a certain number of leads. Now, every person at the 5 events is not a lead. Okay. We've already covered that you're going to have people that you meet that are not your people. Okay. And that's perfectly fine. Those people are not going to be included. Okay. So if we did the math full out, you'd have 5 events. You're going to have 5 referral sources from each of those events. And then you're going to multiply that out by 100. Okay. In this instance, you're going to have 5 leads come from those 5 contacts that you made at each of those events. So let's say 1 person per event. And you're ultimately going to have the opportunity for 100 people to actually connect with you from those events. Okay. Now let's say out of all those people that you met with 500 people, you had leads that were viable of only 25. This is a good thing. Okay. Remember, impressions are all the eyeballs on you. That is not every person that you're going to be actually marketing to. Those are just people that have the opportunity to consume your message. So when you get down to viable leads, the viable lead percentage could be anywhere from 10 to even less. It could be even 5% of your total impressions could be your viable leads, which is the reason why it's so important when you're buying marketing that if someone starts talking to you about impressions, you need to move them very quickly past that point of sale and tell them, I'm not concerned with impressions. I'm concerned with the number of viable leads that I'm going to get from this activity. How many people or the range of people can you tell me are going to be in the market to consume my service when I pay you X dollars to generate those opportunities for me? Now, again, we've already covered that of those viable leads, 20 of our 25 are going to show up, are going to get scheduled for appointments rather. 20 of our 25 are going to show up. And let's say you're going to have 4 retained clients as a result of those relationships. Beautiful thing here. I want you to think about your gross revenue. Okay. Your gross revenue are the total retained clients times the average case value. And let's say your cases are bringing you about $10,000 per case. Okay. If you're generating 4 clients, that is row 7, off of your $10,000 clients, right? Your $10,000 case value, then 4 clients equals $40,000. Okay. That's about the extent of the math that you're going to have to do here. So if you look at retained all the way across, each of these numbers is times 10,000. So we have our number of retained clients from networking with legal professionals brought us $100,000. Our number of retained clients from paid sponsorships brought us 2 clients at $20,000. Our number of retained clients from our public speaking, 6 clients, brought us $60,000. And my personal favorite, our number of retained clients from our billboard brought us 0. And I'm saying 0 because most people are not going to be able to track that they generated a certain number of clients from billboards. Not impossible. Obviously, billboards do have a level of value, but unless you have a high budget and a great amount of discretion in your budget, I would not recommend that you use a billboard as a strategy because it is a high cost strategy. Okay, I want to move very quickly now to talking about who is responsible, okay? We're at the end of our time together. I just want to highlight here, it's very important that you recognize that you need to have an assigned person for every activity that you have in your marketing plan. Don't leave it to chance to say, I'm the only person here, so I'm the one who's going to be doing the marketing. You need to be thinking proactively about who is going to be doing your marketing in the future. Now, I mentioned earlier for you guys that for those of you that don't have clarity on who you're serving or even where to find them or where the best places are to find them, I've created a worksheet called the Ideal Client Avatar Worksheet that you can get at my website, lawfirmmentor.net/avatar. And at the avatar worksheet, you'll be able to go through a checklist that will walk you through a process of identifying who your people are, where to find them, and most importantly, how they think, so that when you buy marketing, your marketing can actually benefit you and not just take away your time and money. Okay, so for those of you that would like to get a copy of the slides, if you don't have the All Access Pass, my email is ironically not on this slide. I love it when that happens. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put my email into the chat so that you guys have access to it. It is info@lawfirmmentor.net. Please feel free to email me and just say you want the slides from today's Law Firm Growth Summit, and I'm happy to send those out to you. I am Allison Williams, your Law Firm Mentor. I hope that you guys got a lot of value out of today's program. Feel free to engage with me in the various different places you can find me. Listen to our podcast, the Crushing Chaos with Law Firm Mentor podcast. You can find us on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, which is the Law Firm Mentor Movement. You can find us on IG and YouTube. And we're really, really happy to connect with lawyers from all across the country because we're happy and dedicated to helping you get more money and more free time out of your law firm. So thank you, everyone, for the lovely comments that you were putting in the chats. And Anya, yes, the slides, I believe, are going to be available as a result of having the All Access Pass. But if for any reason they are not available, you can reach out to me and we will make the slide deck available to anyone who has reached out. Okay? Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for your attention. It's been a pleasure to teach you, and I will see you soon.